this video is going to be applicable for any of our crossbody bags. Now it has I used on this one the optional quilted back. You can use an unquilted if you desire, and it also has appliques on the corners and an optional pocket on the inside. Now it's a little bit confusing as to the pieces that get cut, so I wanted to go over that. This next one that I'm making right now, I've also done the optional quilted back. I've just gotten to where I really like that. So that's already been created. That's like the first hooping that you would want to do if you're going to use the quilted back. And you just set it aside. It didn't require a video because it's pretty straightforward. So now the pieces that are cutting for the bag itself, I'm going to be using a solid front for the bottom, which would be this piece right here. It gets folded, and so I've already folded that, pressed and folded it. And for the top part of the bag, I'm going to be using a piece that matches the back of the quilted bag. And then on the inside lining, I'm going to be using these polka dots. And this, you fold the two pieces for that lining just like you did for the front. And those are going to be the ones that are going to be directly behind the front of the bag, and it's called the front lining in the written tutorial. It's going to be the pieces that go right in here, basically on the back side of the front. And then the back lining is just a solid piece that does not get folded, and that's the piece that goes right back here. It's going to be on the other side of the back, like that. And then you have an optional pocket that is folded. I've already folded that, and I've interfaced it. You can also put a piece of stabilizer in here if you want a thicker or a more sturdy pocket. It just makes it a little more difficult to turn. Then you need a zipper. You need two zippers, and then you need your hardware, which is in a separate tutorial. And also we have a video tutorial showing you how to make the adjustable strap. But you'll need the two lobster claws, and if you want it adjustable, you'll need the slider bar. But as far as for the bag goes, you just need the two D-rings that are going to attach to the loops. And that gets put down in the process of this bag right now that we're making. So you have a placement line that goes down, and you put the batting over top of the placement line, and I've already done that, as you can tell. Stitched it down, and then trim off the edges of the batting so it gives the, when you turn it, it gives those seams a little less bulk. And I wanted to point this out. I actually cut my batting a little bit too narrow for the width, but if you save some of your pieces that you cut off, you can fix them right in there when something like that happens. I mean, even up here, you know, that's big, that's small enough that you could put, if you were just doing batting separately, you could actually put a piece of batting up there. But I just laid a piece of the scrap batting inside here, and it'll work just fine. So now what I'm going to do, the batting is down, and the next step is going to be the zipper. So I couldn't decide which color zipper I wanted to use because I'm using black and brown tones. And I'm going to be having the front is going to be a black. It's going to have a black bottom section. It's going to have the print on the top. So I was trying to decide between the two, and I think I like the black best, and then I will add some of the brown tones to that to pull in the browns. But you're going to be putting the zipper in right now. And now some of our crossbody bags do have this top going down first and quilted, and then the zipper lays on top of the sections, the front sections. So when I said that you could use this for any of the bags, I guess I was not right in that, because some of these will have this go on first, and then the zipper will go down on top with the motif stitch coming across the zipper at the end. for this particular bag, we're putting the zipper on first. So what you want to do, you want to match up the teeth of your zipper with this placement line right here in the center of that section that has been trimmed out. I did want to point out to you that you do, when you're trimming the excess around the edges, you also want to trim this zipper portion out with batting. You don't want the batting in there. So you're going to lay your zipper on here with the teeth lined up with that line, that placement line, and we're going to tape that to both edges, close the zipper, and then put your machine down on the slower setting. And first, run your zipper foot without putting any thread into your zipper to make sure that you've got your zipper in the right placement, because you don't want to get too close to the teeth or you'll have trouble opening up the zipper. Alright, so I've put the zipper in. Now I'm going to put the top piece of the front down, and I'm going to lay it so that it is about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the zipper teeth itself. And I'm going to tape this down. Take it back to the machine. Oh, I do want to point out that is the fold part of this is towards the zipper. The raw edges are going on the outside. I'm going to take it to the machine now, and it will tack this down and then do the quilt design on top of it. Now I have quilted the top piece, and I'm going to lay now the folded edge of the bottom front about 1/8 to 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch from the zipper teeth, and I'm going to tape it and take this back to the machine. And this bottom section will be tacked down, and then the quilt design will go on top of it. Now the quilting design has gone down, and I just love the two tones of the brown and the black on here. After that gets finished, what you want to do is come back and trim out the top fabric at these corners. Be careful that you don't trim the batting out at the same time. You just want to trim the fabric. And what you're going to do next, the bottom two are going to go first. I just lay a long piece across both of these and do it at the same time. And then it'll stop and allow you to put the piece for the top applique corners, and you'll do the same thing up here. When you put the top piece down for the applique corners, you want to not to get too close to the teeth, the zipper teeth, and you're going to take that to the machine, and it's going to tack this down, and then you're going to trim just like what I did for the bottom. Now after this is all, the appliques have been tacked down and you've trimmed them, there's a motif stitch that goes across the edges to secure that raw edge. The next thing will be an applique that goes in the center, and you just lay your piece of fabric on top of that unquilted section in the center, take it to the machine, it'll tack it down, then you'll want to trim around these edges, and you will have the satin stitch that goes around the edges here, and then the monogram. Now the applique has been stitched around to secure the raw edges. This is a motif stitch rather than a satin stitch, and the monogram has gone down. What you want to do is turn the hoop over to the back. I have marked where the zipper, that center line, because this was the white bobbin thread that was used, I've marked it with the disappearing ink so that you can see that better. You want to take your two folded pieces of fabric, and you're going to lay them just like you did on the front of the fabric, or the front of the bag, with about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from that marking, which is the center of the zipper. It's actually the zipper teeth. So you'll do that for both of these and tape them down. pin them actually. If you use painter's tape, a lot of times it catches as you're sliding this hoop back into the machine. So either Scotch tape or pins work the best. Now you want to turn your hoop over to the back and pin or tape that optional pocket. Optional meaning that you don't have to put it on there. I am going to, so I have pinned mine on. Now you turn it back around to the front and put your back on the front. If you're using the quilted back, then you want to match up your corner stitches from the front to the back that's been bobbin. It's a bobbin thread that's in the back, so you'll have to, look for your thread marking and just line that up. And if you are not using the quilted, then you would take that other back piece that is it's just a flat piece like this, and you would turn it over and put it on, and you don't have to lay anything up, you just lay it over top. Take that to the machine, and now you will have a 4-inch tack down that will go right down here at the bottom of your bag. The 4-inch tack down has gone down right at the bottom, excuse me, right at the bottom of the bag, and it has also caught the pocket on the back. You want to take your last piece, the last remaining piece, which is the back lining, and you want to arrange that so that it's going to be over the entire bag perimeter, and you will want to pin that down. Pin it on both sides. I'll come back, and I just didn't want to make you watch me put the pins in. I'll come back and pin that one in, and then also you want to take your loops that you've already made, and about 1 inch from each corner, that you can use painter's tape for this. And you don't want that D-ring to go much further than the bottom of the zipper. So just tape that down on both sides with the raw edges of the loop towards the outside of the bag. Make sure that they're about the same on both sides. Take that to the machine, and what will happen now is there will be a tack down that will go from here where the 4 inches ended all the way around to where the 4 inches started. This will be left open, and that will be where your first turn will be for the bag. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you have opened your zipper about halfway. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get your bag turned around. Now, you want to unhoop your bag, and looking at having the back of it, what would be the back of the hoop, facing up, where you can see that opening that has been left. And what you want to do is you want to start trimming the edges, the seams of your bag. When you get down to the bottom, and this is why you want to be looking at it from the side where you can see the opening, you're going to want to trim your corners. But when you get to the stitches, the opening, you don't want to cut off this part here. You want to leave a tab. And so you're going to do that on both sides. And the reason for that is because it will make it easier to close that opening. Especially if you're going to use steam seam to do it, which is how I always do everything. So I don't like to hand sew. So, snip off your corners like you would, if you were sewing anything. Remove some of the bulk, and now you're going to turn it. you're going to turn the bag through this opening. So I have turned this through the opening, and what you'll be looking at is the back of the zipper. So you want to, if you've used tearaway stabilizer, you want to tear it away from the zipper, cut away, you want to cut it away, which I've already done, and then open your zipper all the way, and you will just turn it then through the zipper. But before you want to do that, you want to close off this hole right here that was left. You only need the two outer pieces of fabric in order to do that. And so you can trim all of this excess fabric right here. Just leave this one here, and then this one, which I've already folded in. Actually, it got folded in when I pressed this open, or pressed this the corners. So trim your excess fabric, close your opening. I use steam-a-seam or whip stitch it, and then turn it through the zipper opening. So the bag is turned and finished. Strap would still need to be made, and make sure that you've got all your stabilizer trimmed from the zipper teeth. And that's it. Hope you enjoy.